Today's big game breakdown, Friday, huge NBA card for the big game breakdown. Chosen Golden State at Dallas here. Both teams on back-to-back nights. Golden State, obviously, last night defeating Houston, giving themselves some pretty sizable separation for that number 10 seed in the West. Now 4 games between they and the Rockets with only 6 to play. For Dallas, a win last night at home against the Atlanta Hawks. Rather easy win and cover. Better look at this one. And, this time of year, we've talked an awful lot about standings, seedings, jockeying for seeding, better playoff position, home floor, et cetera, et cetera. Here, both teams are motivated. Just feel like Dallas probably has more to gain and will be the more motivated team here, or at least the higher energy team in this particular game. Golden State absolutely exuded a ton of energy last night in that Houston game. The blowout score is what it is. But coming into that game, Golden State had a bullseye on that contest. We saw a little bit of talk out of Draymond, how he wanted to end Houston's season. And Golden State played that way from the outset. Last night, they shot lights out, 58.8% from the field, 48.6% from three, almost 50% from three last night for the Warriors. Doubtful that they can repeat those numbers. You would expect some regression, and you would also expect a little less intensity here in this particular contest. Not that they won't be, again, focused and motivated. It's just that the intensity level last night was higher than what I figure it'll be here tonight against the Mavs, who are the exact opposite. They came in as a double-digit favorite last night, kind of coasted to a win over Atlanta, and now get to play Golden State in what's somewhat of a quick turnaround revenge. They just played Tuesday night, 104-100. Golden State wins in their place. Dallas had a shot to win that game. Didn't get there. For them, they now sit 2 games or remain 2 games out of the number 4 seed, which includes home floor in the West. So they're trying desperately to climb into that 4 seed. Big game for them here tonight. The Mavs did win on this floor by 10 back on March 13th, 109-99, certainly capable of doing so. And, you have to mention what their defense has done. The turnaround in the Dallas defense absolutely is the story of the past 2.5 weeks in the NBA. Dallas, over the last 10 games, ranks number 1 in the NBA in defensive efficiency. And I don't think, for 4 years now, they've been a lousy defense. And I don't think at any point during this season, we'd have thought that with 6 games left to play, we'd be talking about Dallas currently as the most defensively efficient team in the league. Certainly a great turnaround. Credit to that front line that they kind of went out and acquired. PJ Washington, a lot of credit for that. Daniel Gafford, a lot of credit for that. Derek Lively as well. Derek Lively was absent last game, probably doesn't play here either, at least on the early injury report. Both defenses have been good. Golden State is number 9 overall, last 10 games. So they're both there. You're pretty much splitting hairs here, but I'm looking for the more intense team. I'm looking for the home team on a Friday night, and I'm looking at the Dallas Mavericks to get back what didn't happen on Tuesday, which was win against the Golden State Warriors. And in this instance, laying 5 points, I think, is a reasonable number. So thinking that Golden State accomplished what they wanted to accomplish last night, and thinking that Dallas still has accomplishments ahead of them, going to play Dallas here. Minus the 5 is the big game breakdown. At home tonight, -5 over Golden State. Let's take a look at today's best bet from NBA action. And for that, this is going to be a mechanical play. There is not a lot of deep analysis that goes with this. This one becomes plain and simple. It's the Toronto at Milwaukee game. And I'm going to give you 2 ways to play it. But we're going to go the safe route at this time of day right now and play this game over 228. Couple of reasons why. Obviously, it's a mechanical play against Toronto's defense at this point in time. Their pace is crazy fast. Their defense is crazy bad. That combination has led to them allowing 128 plus points in each of their last 4 games. They rank 30th in defensive efficiency over the last 10 games. The tempo that I mentioned happens to be number 5 fastest in the NBA over the course of their last 30. The return of RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly, the last couple of games has only added to that, as Toronto again has gone fast and gave up plenty in their last 2 games, gave up 133 and 128. So again, Milwaukee hasn't been the best team as of late, but everybody that plays Toronto ends up scoring a whole bunch of points. So at 228, I think we can get over here. I really would almost prefer, and I'll leave you guys with this so that you can look out for it. I almost would prefer playing the Milwaukee team total over 121.5. The reason why we're laying it out here as a best bet on the full game total is simply because at this time of day, there's question marks attached to Giannis, to Damian Lillard, to Chris Middleton. And you assume all three of those guys are going to go here. Pretty sure they're all going to go. But if they don't, the total will come down a little bit and it will still go over the number because Milwaukee's reserves, whoever doesn't play out of those three, if one shouldn't, the rest of the lineup is fully capable against this Toronto defense. Toronto has given up those types of points to teams with much lesser personnel than what Milwaukee puts on the floor. But I think all three are going to go. And I really think that the team total could be the preferred route here. Again, we're going to play it safe at this time of day and keep an eye on the injury report. But I think they're both worth playing here as best bets. The full game over. Toronto, they score points. There's no question about it. That's what they're on the floor for. That's what they do best, aside from allowing points, which is really good when you have a total up and over. So we're going to look at it from two directions here. We're going to play it as the best bet, full game over, 228. But we're also going to look at it from a Milwaukee team total perspective over 121.5, since Toronto is yielding that on a nightly basis. Just keep your eye on the injury report. And in case somebody does get ruled out, you'll get a much better price than 228 as far as full game total is concerned. So it's almost a double best bet here. Full game over, Milwaukee team total over. And again, there's no reason to overthink this one. Toronto's playing out the string. They've been doing it now for 3.5 weeks. And they are what they are when they take the floor. They're going to do what they've been doing over that course of time. So we're going to play it that way. Best bet for today. Full game total, Toronto and Milwaukee over 228. Also, going to leave an added best bet here with the Milwaukee team total over 121.5. Thing opened at 120.5, now up to 121.5. Real quick here, for those of you who are playing UFL football, the new football league, finished number one in XFL handicapping last year at WagerTalk, number one in Canadian football handicapping, all the off-brand football leagues. Overall, number one is where I finished last year, and off to a 3-1 start in the UFL. Those plays will be up and available this week. Be sure to check those out, along with the NBA, which is on a real good run right now, 11-5 over the last 16. So once again, check for all the plays, including today's 4% best bet over at WagerTalk.com. Once again, best bet for today, full game, Toronto, Milwaukee, up and over 228. Added bonus best bet, Milwaukee team total up and over 121.5.
What's happening? This is Kevin Dolan from WagerTalk.com, breaking down another big matchup over in the NBA on Friday. So let's get into it. First things first, going to take a look at the matchup between the Toronto Raptors and the Milwaukee Bucks tonight over at the Fiserv Forum. The Bucks have been in some fairly dismal form of late, you'd say. 4 losses from the last 5 games overall. So hard to trust them completely with your money here. But, even with those recent troubles, when compared against this Toronto team right now, they're simply on another level. I faded Toronto on Wednesday night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The line opened up on that game very early in the morning, -15. I absolutely pounded that line. Climbed all the way up as high as -18 before there was any buyback as well, I think, before game time. And that was an absolute bargain at that price. Not too often I'll be giving out -15 favourites as the value side in the game over in the association. But, I just have Toronto so far south on my power rankings right now. They're almost talking Spanish at this point. Absolutely rock bottom of the charts overall. And that's, clearly shown to be the case right now as well. 48-point loss against Minnesota on Wednesday. 44-point loss against New York last week as well. 34-point loss against Sacramento the week before that. I mean, this Raptors team isn't just losing. They're getting absolutely drilled in games as well. Bottom in defensive efficiency across their last 3 starts. Worst average scoring margin across that time frame as well. -26.7 points per game across their last 3 starts. They're allowing 53.6% from the floor, almost 50% as well from three-point range also. So, despite all of Milwaukee's recent struggles late, plus the fact the Bucks still have a number of players questionable to start tonight's game as well. Even with all of those aspects factored in here, this is still a situation to me where Milwaukee could pretty much name their score tonight. So even at minus 16, it's simply a matter of play the favourite in this one or stay away from the game entirely, as there is no way I could personally trust putting my money on this Toronto Raptors team right now, given the way they're playing. So give me Milwaukee or pass for me on Friday, going up against the Toronto Raptors. In terms of a best bet, though, I'm going to instead pivot towards the matchup between the Sacramento Kings and the Boston Celtics tonight over at the TD Garden. But before I do, I just want to mention our UEFA Rest of Season Pass, which is up at WagerTalk until Tuesday, March 9th. Huge savings on that end of season pass, which runs all the way through until June 1st, Champions League final. Currently ranked number 1 at WagerTalk across all UEFA competitions this season. That's Champions League, Europa Conference League. So if you use code UEFA79, UEFA79 over at my page right now to lock in that UEFA season pass, you can get all of my plays for the rest of the season across Champions League, Europa League, and so on for one low price, only $79 for the rest of the entire season, all 5% plays included as well. So great time to jump on board, lock that in before it expires. Plenty of action still left to play for in European competition, obviously, as we look to close out the UEFA season on another massive high note this year. Returning to the best bet, however, I'm going to take the Boston Celtics to win and cover at home tonight against the Sacramento Kings. Kind of similar to what I just mentioned in regards to Toronto, only on the opposite side. I weight my power rankings more heavily based on recent performance, obviously. And this Boston team, never mind on the season as a whole, in which they've been, pretty electric, just of late as well, where, coming off those back-to-back surprising losses against the Atlanta Hawks last week, they seem to just, fit right back into steamrolling opponents once again. 3 straight wins across their last 3 games, all coming by double digits for Boston as well. We got the cap on tonight. The last one coming by 35 points against, a really good Oklahoma City team on Wednesday also. And, the stats back that dominance up for Boston as well. The Celtics ranked number 1 in offensive efficiency, both on the season as a whole and across their last 3 starts as well. They own the league's biggest average scoring margin in both categories also, plus 15.9 point average scoring margin differential at home this season. Plus, they have the league's best defense, giving up just 98.7 points per game across their last 3 starts. So this team is headed into the playoffs like an absolute freight train right now. They're facing a Sacramento team tonight who, for anyone that tuned into Tuesday's breakdown that I gave out, we gave out best bet in Sacramento in that game as small home underdogs against the LA Clippers, winning that game outright as well. So I am high on this Sacramento team, but nonetheless, Boston's form at home this season has just been absolutely ridiculous. 7-1 now ATS as well in their last 8 games when starting as a home favourite. So give me Boston tonight to stay red hot in the league, win this game by double digits on Friday against the Sacramento Kings. Best bet. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And as always, until next time, thanks for watching. Best of luck on all your bets.